Well, hello, you glorious humans of the interwebs, and welcome back to Red Dead Online. Today we're going to be discussing the good, the bad, and the ugly of Red Dead Online, what I would like to see in the future, what I think Rockstar has planned for the future, and just general thoughts on the current status of the game. And, yeah, it's going to be more of a just kind of discussion video. And I'm just going to be farming up stuff and kind of getting things ready for live streams and stuff like that. So this is going to be more of like a podcast style game, although we will be doing stuff in game and you can watch, but definitely feel free to just listen to this if you so desire. But I do want to start off by saying that Red Dead Online has certainly been on a path to success. Obviously, there's a lot of flaws that we still need to discuss, but on the grand scheme of things, it does seem like Red Dead Online is going to eventually become everything that we hope for, and I do have a lot of thoughts as far as where things are going to go for future content from Rockstar, and we're going to get into all of that today. But I do want to start off with the things that I really like about Red Dead Online right now. Then we'll get into some of the bad stuff, some of the ugly stuff, and some of the stuff for the future. So I do hope you guys enjoy this. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and if you want more discussion videos like this in the future, I would definitely love to know your opinions and your thoughts on the game as well. Now, the good stuff. Payouts for everything across the board have drastically increased. It is significantly easier to level up, get money, and gold than it has ever been in Red Dead Online before. I do still think there is room for improvement. Looting bodies is almost the biggest waste of time in the game. Now, that is not to say that there have been improvements in that department. Maps now drop from a variety of different things other than just hideouts and ambushes. If you loot during story missions, during stranger missions and stuff like that, you do stand the opportunity of getting maps now. And since one of the best ways to get money, XP, and gold in stranger missions is to take basically as long as possible, and I do have guides on this, on the most optimal ways to farm up stranger missions. Now you can actually spend time and loot bodies for the potentiality for maps, which I think is a huge improvement. Although the stuff that you get from looting bodies is really bad. The chance of getting a map is about 1 in 300, and the time it takes to loot bodies for those 300 almost outweighs basically the time it takes to actually loot. It's such a drastic waste of time, so there does need to be some improvements in the loot you get from actually, looting people. So hopefully that is something that's fixed in the near future, but hunting has drastically improved. Obviously, the prices for hunting have not gone up, but there are actually animals in the game, which is something I absolutely hated in the beta. All the animal spawns were gone, and as I mentioned, I did think it was a glitch. I do not think that it was intentional by Rockstar to basically decimate the animal population. They did specifically say that it was a glitch, and it has been fixed, and animal populations have drastically increased over the past couple weeks, and they've been increasing more and more as they continue to work on the server stability, which is a major issue, and we'll get into that here in a little bit. Although they have made, in the past, I'd say 3 days, drastic improvements to online. Still major blue screens and disconnects, but the game itself actually runs when you're inside now, which it did not before, and we'll get into all that here in just a minute. So, payouts for everything, so much better. So if you're looking to get into Red Dead Online, and I've been asked this countless times, should I start playing now? Is this the time to get into it? And I do have to say that if you're looking to get into Red Dead Online or get back into it because it just wasn't quite there, there's still not a ton to do. But if you're looking to get into it and get a head start before all the sheeple start coming when things start getting really, really exciting, this is definitely the time you want to do that, because you definitely want to be ahead when the masses start playing again. It's going to be a huge advantage for you, and this is the best time to really start and get that head start for the inevitability of people flocking to Red Dead Online at some point. So yeah, the payouts are great, hunting is back, and very lucrative, and a lot of things have been fixed as far as griefing goes. We do have defensive mode, which is not really like a passive mode. It's more along the lines of a very hard-to-kill mode. It's not to say that griefers cannot still kill you. If they're really, really good at free aim and can deal a lot more damage than you can in a quick fashion, they can still take you out. But on the grand scheme of things, being in defensive mode, they can't target you, and they do significantly less damage. So more often than not, if you encounter a troll, switch to defensive mode, and feel free to troll him, because that's just how it's going to roll, unless they're significantly better than you, and that is it's definitely a possibility. There are some really, really good players in Red Dead Online. Hey, buddy. Yeah, I'm using the bow. You didn't even know I was here, did you, home skillet? Oh, you're lucky I shot that wolf pelt. Oh, my God, he shot me in the dick, and I died. It was so nice and spoopy Secret Squirrel style, and then completely didn't pay attention to my health and got killed by a stupid Lancaster repeater. But I do think online is now in a playable state where you can go in and enjoy it and start getting ahead. Now, it is still very repetitive. There is not a lot of stuff in the game right now. So after about, I'd say, 2 weeks of playing back in Red Dead Online, going from level 35 to I'm about to hit 69 in this video, I'm starting to feel the effects of things being repetitive again. Now, next Tuesday, we got a new update with new game modes, and that's going to add new variety to it, but I have stated for a very long time that this game cannot survive on game modes alone. There needs to be a lot of new free roam content, because that is where the game shines, and Rockstar has expressed this as well. They are shifting from that PvP mindset, which I have said since the beginning that they need to do, and they're getting more into that RP, basically creating a life inside of this world that you want to come back to every single day. And that is where Red Dead Online is really going to shine. It's not going to be the game modes that keep people around, because at the end of the day, all the game modes end up starting to feel the same. Although Overrun, best game mode they've made so far. There's a lot of really good stuff available right now, and it's only going to get better, so I'm looking forward to the future. But yes, after about 2 weeks of playing, all day, every day, I'm starting to feel holy Jesus, the effects of things feeling repetitive. But we do have the excitement of jobs coming very soon. So we're going to have the Bounty Hunter, Collector, and Trader coming in the summer, and I do think that it's going to be sooner rather than later. Rockstar really needs to capitalize on the momentum of starting to get people back, and if they can, things are going to be very, very good for Rockstar, and I think they realize this, so I'm anticipating the jobs coming very late June or mid-July. I don't think they're going to wait until the end of the summer, because there's not enough content to keep people playing until then as it stands. But the jobs are going to be something where they continuously evolve. So it's not like they're going to put in the Bounty Hunter, and you're going to have like 10 things to do, and then you're done with the Bounty Hunter. This is going to be something that evolves with time, and your character can grow and create a reputation for himself, where you might start off as a bounty hunter, and if you're a lawful bounty hunter, you may end up the sheriff of a town or something like that, and protecting a town. And I think that is a great way to kind of progress a character, and I'm really interested to see what would happen for like a unlawful bounty hunter. Creating like a... Whoop! There we go. The struggle is real. But this evolution of these jobs could be huge, and it really will... You could think back on, wow, I started with just a horse and collecting bounties every once in a while, to having, this empire where I have, armored wagons and just all sorts of crazy stuff, like a trader, starting off just trading at a camp, to owning your own business in Saint Denis. That's something that's been discussed. And that evolution of growth in Red Dead Online is, I think, what's going to set it apart, let alone from GTA, but many other online things as well. If only I could shoot the stupid little deer. There we go. So I have a lot of excitement for the future, and if you want to get ahead of the game and have advantages over everybody else, I do recommend playing now, especially if you own the game already. Do not specifically buy this game for online. I don't think it's at that point where you should be like, oh my god, I need to buy a console, I need to buy the game. Definitely buy the game for single player, and then if I could pin this deer, that'd be great. I should have kicked it in the face to murderize it. But now for some of the bad stuff. We've had lots and lots of improvements as far as the core game goes, and there's lots of things to be excited about in the future, and we'll discuss that a little bit more after we get into the bad stuff, because I don't want to just, good stuff and then the rest of the video is bad. That's not how I roll. But there is a lot of things going wrong. But today, a marked improvement. And the nice thing about the current... Wait, I need that horse. The current way Rockstar has the servers implemented is that they can work behind the scenes without actually having to provide us updates. So the past couple, let's say the last week, you could not accept any stranger missions, which is the best way to make gold, money, and experience at the same time, is by farming stranger missions. You could not even accept them for an entire week. The servers are an absolute mess. They're extremely laggy. And I don't know if the servers that they've decided to go with, it's a new type of, basically, without going too much into detail, just long story short, it's a new type of server deployment. And the thought was that it should allow for a significantly less laggy experience. This seems to be probably some of the worst servers I've ever played on. Now, we don't know exactly because Rockstar hasn't discussed it, whether these are all server-side issues or game code issues. But it definitely seems to be a lot of server-side stuff where maybe there's like memory leaks or something, but there is a ton of lag. You get more than 5 people on the screen shooting at once, and the server just loses its mind. It cannot handle it. So that's something that Rockstar is going to need to drastically increase in the coming weeks and months to be able to hold the player base. Now, that being said, we do know that the servers are absolutely terrible. They're still getting tons of disconnects and blue screens. The blue screens are definitely code issues. Don't know what's causing that. But the disconnects themselves still very prevalent. But now, the stranger missions are no longer broken. But there is server-side lag. So, the stranger missions will no longer just have that grayed out accept, and you can't even interact with them. You can now interact with them, but then either the server will lag out and you get disconnected, or you won't be able to accept them at all. And by not accept them at all, I mean that you'll be able to talk to them and interact with them, and then it won't activate, which is definitely a server-side thing. But you can tell that Rockstar is, every day, working on getting things actually where they need to be. Every day I've seen an improvement in these stranger missions, because that is basically the largest outcry aside from the blue screens and the disconnects, is that nobody can accept stranger missions, which is an absolute core mechanic of the game. If you can't accept stranger missions, 50% of the game is gone. And I think that's why they've been focusing on that next, or first, and then we're going to get work on the actual server-side issues with the disconnects and blue screens. And I imagine, actually, that a lot of that stemmed from basically the servers not being able to keep up with whatever was glitching out with the stranger missions. So that is improving, but it is still a prevalent issue. I've been disconnected with blue screens 3 times while I was trying to get ready to record this particular episode. So, major issues there. I believe there's still issues with camps not loading in, but let's see here if we can set a camp here, because we need to actually cook some stuff. And hey, it worked. It's a Christmas miracle. Now, another downside is that there is a distinct lack of content for endgame players. Once you pass level 94, there is nothing left. There's absolutely nothing left. And there's really not a lot of things to buy. Everybody says everything is so expensive, and a lot of stuff is very expensive. But I have to say that if you're able to buy everything, what is the point of playing? You know, this is a game where you want to be playing for months and years, not days and weeks. And if you could get everything in the game in a week, and realistically, you can get everything that's worth getting in the game in a week. If you want to buy everything in the game, it's going to take a lot longer than a week, obviously. But there's very few things that you should actually... There's actually very few things that you should buy, and a ton of stuff that is an absolute waste of money. And when you look at the economy on the grand scheme of wanting to buy everything, yeah, it's expensive. But realistically, there's a lot of garbage stuff. Most of the weapons aren't even useful. And at the end of the day, you can get everything that's worth getting in a week, and then you have to level up for the horses, which are expensive, and Elgato likes to punch me in the face while I'm trying to record, because Elgato can suck my butt. Welcome back! There we go. Now, that being said, there's still there's a lack of things to get. And if you're somebody that plays the game a lot and wants to level up and have achievements for or goals that you want to get in the future, there's really not a lot of that. And I do think that's going to be fixed a lot with the jobs. Rockstar has already stated that jobs are going to have a lot of very specific things to flesh out your character and make them more unique. even so much as job-specific weapons that you can only get by leveling up in those jobs. I think that's great, and that's going to probably fix a lot of the issues we have right now with there not being a lot of things to get. Like right now, just having satchels, maybe as an achievement for like hunting down specific animals, you can unlock specific achievements, or doing things in the game, basically how it was in single player, where you can do certain things and then unlock the ability to buy stuff like that. I think that kind of system would be nice, rather than having it level locked to like some absurdly high level. But say you kill 50 bears and you unlock some kind of larger bear satchel that allows you to carry more animal parts. Things like that would be really cool. Like when you do stranger missions, there's ones where you hunt down people like a bounty hunter. You could have some kind of satchel that gives you more things when you do a certain number of those. I think that kind of system would be great for unlocking things like larger satchels, bandoliers, I don't know how to pronounce the word. Hey, level 69, I'm officially quitting, I'm not leveling up anymore. We have hit the only level that matters, level 69. So incorporating things like that, like achievements where doing something will get your reward, I think is a much better system than locking something to like level 150. I really don't think just having a level should mean that you're significantly better, because anybody can get to that level, but maybe a lot of people can't shoot somebody from like 1,000 feet away or something like that, and headshots. Like putting it skill-based for things, I think would be really nice. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, but there's definitely a distinct lack of setting yourself apart as far as skill goes, or even if you want to go as far as level and just commitment to the game. I think not necessarily level should be rewarded, but your commitment to doing a certain activity should set you apart from other people, and that's going to come with jobs, so that's going to be a nice improvement. But aside from that, there's really not a lot of downsides other than the disconnects and the server issues. There's not a lot of variety, but that's going to be fixed with jobs and future updates. So as it stands right now, there's a lot of things to be really excited about for the future of Red Dead Online, providing they can fix these server issues and get it stable, because there's nothing worse than having a game that you want to play and then can't because of server issues. And I've stated this throughout the beta, that you should be happy that there's not a lot of content in the game right now, and then wanting to play the game, because it's been broken since beta. There's been so much wrong with it, and that they needed to focus on fixing the server side of things. And they've done a lot to fix it, but there's a lot of issues that have been prevalent. Oh my god, that bird came out of nowhere. Since the beginning that still haven't been fixed, and quite frankly, I'm astonished that, what are we, 6-7 months in? A lot of these core things with the servers are still not fixed. So I'm glad that we don't have like jobs and stuff like that, because imagine just all this extra stuff that people are trying to do, even making the server stability even worse, and then having all of this amazing things that you want to do and then can't. A lot of people might not ever come back after that. So I'm hoping over the next couple weeks they'll get the server stuff fixed, and when we get all the content that we're really hoping for, like jobs, that things are going to be much, much better in the long run. Now, getting into future stuff. There's a lot of stuff we want in the future. We want properties, things to differentiate ourselves from everybody else instead of looking the same. We need more variety in horses. I really think we should have the ability to become like a horse breeder and level up our horses, because right now you have three choices, really. You have at the end game, you have the Foxtrotter, the Turkoman, and the Arabian. So everybody's riding the same horses, and truth be told, back then a lot of people were riding the same horses anyways, so I guess it's kind of realistic, but still having more variety is really good. So being able to breed horses and maybe get something like, if you love Mustangs and you want to ride a Mustang, you should be able to ride a Mustang and maybe be able to breed it to have better stats or something like that. I don't know. I'd like to see something like that. Properties, obviously. One thing that really, really needs to be improved is the posse and camp system. There is really no reason to be in a posse. They have started providing benefits for being in a posse, which is like weekly stuff, where if you play in a posse this week, you get more XP and things like that, and I think that's great. But when those weeks aren't around, being in a posse is detrimental, other than the fact that you have protection from griefers by being in a posse. But at the end of the day, being in a posse is really not that beneficial. It actually hinders you more often than not, because you're losing XP in stranger missions because you're not able to get all the kills. You're not able to kill all the animals, which give you more XP. You're not able to harvest all the animals because you're splitting up amongst your posse. So at the end of the day, it's really hindering you. Now, when you go to a camp as a posse, there's no interaction available for you guys. You can just sit at a campfire and cook. What I would like to see is more camp customization. Maybe being able to buy a pot of stew so people can put food in and make stew so that all the posse members can have benefits. You can play poker now. Give us a larger poker table so everybody in the posse can play together instead of limiting it to 6 at like that you get in the saloons. Give people a reason to be at their camp, because right now there's absolutely no reason to go to a camp. 1, it always moves and you're having to repay for it. And then 2, there's no reason to ever go unless you're collecting a delivery, but more often than not, it's easier just to go to a town. So lots of improvements need to go into the posse system for benefits, as well as just being able to do stuff together. So give us mini games at the camp would be really nice. So when you go to a camp, maybe it's a player only, like a posse only session where you can do, poker, blackjack, dominoes, liar's dice, 5-finger fillet. Why not give us 5-finger fillet at camp? That'd be really cool. Just adding anything where players can interact with each other more rather than just going around killing each other, I think is going to make the game a significantly better place. Especially have a camp and maybe people can come play poker at your camp. If you're a notorious poker player, you can set a session up at your camp and somebody can come to your camp and challenge you to any of these little game modes. 5-finger fillet. They need to add actual shootouts, like be able to be a legendary gunslinger. Settle disputes by challenging somebody to a shootout, like actually, like a high noon shootout where you take 10 paces and whoever kills the other person wins, and then have gunslinger leaderboards. There are so many different things that they can add to make the interaction less of a, hey, I need to grief this person until they leave, and being able to make it a little bit more interesting. Give posse members more of a reason to play together and interact together at camps. There's so many different things that they can do to really make the experience better, and I'm really hoping that Rockstar continues to listen to the community, and they have listened to the community. It's just taken a lot longer for them to implement these things than most of us ever really anticipated. But I do think things are going to go in the right direction in the future, and anything they can do to flesh out the free roam is going to be beneficial for everyone, because this game cannot survive on game modes alone. They really do need to change up the game mode stuff to be able to make custom, basically custom playlists like you have in GTA. And there's a lot of different things that need to be fixed in that, and I've talked about all that in the past. But I definitely think we're going in the right direction, and if you're looking to get into online and you've been scared to, this is the time to get into it. The server stability has fixed itself a little bit, so you can actually accept stranger missions, and you'll be able to get a head start before everybody bandwagons back into online. That'll be beneficial, because there's nothing worse than joining when everybody else is joining, because the griefing is going to increase then. You're going to be at a disadvantage to everybody who's been playing for 7 months, and you definitely want to try and get a head start as much as you can. I don't want oregano venison. I guess maybe I want oregano venison. No, oregano venison's useless. But anyways, I do hope you all enjoyed this. This was kind of just like a long-form discussion video. Kind of like a podcast thing, and I've actually been debating doing podcasts. It's kind of like what my live streams are, is like a Q&A kind of thing, and I like that format for our live streams. But if you guys want more longer format discussional videos that are kind of like these podcast style, where you can just, set your phone down, listen to it, not really have to watch what's going on, let me know in the comments below. I'd definitely love to, because I really like discussing with the community on the future of the game and ideas that might make the game better in the future. So if this is something you guys want, let me know in the comments below. Hit that like button. I'll see you all in the next one.